What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and I hope you guys are enjoying this weekend. More importantly, I hope you guys have been enjoying my new episodes that's out this week. I still gotta do one more thing to solidify the end of this week, but that's gonna be on my TikTok. So you go follow me on social media platforms: TikTok, Brandon Janeau Show, Facebook, the Brandon Janeau Show is actually the Brandon Janeau Show on Facebook. But that's neither here nor there. And also on Instagram. BrandonJaneauShow. But more importantly, if you really want to get in touch with me, it's very simple. Go to Instagram. It's easier. DM me if you want to do some things, or just want to you know just whatever. And also YouTube. YouTube is Brandon Janeau Show. And if you go there and you like anything, man, you subscribe. I appreciate it. I've got so many subscribers, so many views, so many things. I appreciate it. New week starts tomorrow night. 2014 Forest Hills Drive. J. Cole's album that will be tomorrow night at 11 Central Time PM, 11 p.m. Central Time, uh, which means midnight Eastern Time. So if you are waiting for that, if you are listening to my podcast, there it is. That's when new episodes drop. And the first one of the episodes, I actually am dropping for next week. I'm redoing right here, right now, and I hope you guys enjoy this. So it is Wrestling Life podcast episode. I want to talk about what I talked about Thursday. I felt like I was just rushing it though, and I didn't really get a lot out of what I wanted to say. And a lot of things have happened since I recorded Thursday. A lot of things have been going on in wrestling that I want to address. So uh, let's get off to the news that's coming out so far. So WWE, well, I'm sorry like this. For yeah, fuck it. Okay, yeah, what I'm gonna do is this. Sorry, y'all. Hey man, when you podcast and it's live, you're recording. Hey man, shit happens. When you just try to connect both situations, they're all gonna blend together. But I just wanted to see which one was gonna go first. So sorry about that. But anyway, so here we go. So here we go. So WWE is um well is starting to kind of announce what the new Prime live events will be going forward for WWE going forward. And I am looking at this, and certain people are talking about it. They're canceling a lot of shows that a lot of people would say are gimmicky shows, where it's like Hell in a Cell and TLC and Extreme Rules and shit like that. They're canceling these shows, I guess, to build back the suspense, I should say, the suspense of these shows when you have a real storyline that might need an Extreme Rules match. Which Extreme Rules pay per view isn't like this was the first time Extreme Rules pay per view in a long time was actually an Extreme Rules pay per view. It actually made sense. All the matches had Extreme Rules. Like it had some value ladder match and fight pit match and a strap match, and all of these things had some elements of an extreme match. So this was the first one, but I think it's pretty obvious that Triple H taking over, which I'm going to talk about also. Triple H taking over, his influence is starting to kick in. Triple H is very smart and very very wise to what WWE is and what the company needs. And I like the fact that he's starting to realize we don't need all these gimmicky ass pay per views. Like day one for New Year's, a lot of people are saying, it's going to be a very long time from Survivor Series to the Royal Rumble, where we're not going to have a real main event, real pay per view to settle some scores that, let's be real, you're not really settling anyway. You either go into Survivor Series with a rivalry, have a War Games match, and then go into the next and then build that rivalry out for 2 more months into the Royal Rumble, where you can now start to see certain people now have a place for where WrestleMania is going to be. I think it's a beautiful idea. I think it's 2 months of building a rivalry where there is no cut point, there is no stop point. Now, maybe the end of the rivalry happens in an elimination chamber. Maybe the rivalry heats up even more at WrestleMania. You don't know, but if that's the way WWE is about to start moving now, I am so for it. I don't like all of these pay per views. I don't like all these super crazy ass pay per views. I didn't really hear anything about like the Crown Jewel pay per view or the Greatest Royal Rumble pay per view anymore. They're gonna probably still do the Crown Jewel pay per view because that's a partnership with Saudi Arabia that they're probably gonna keep. But I like the fact that they're gonna go back to the UK. I think that's a beautiful idea. I think that's a good idea. UK hasn't seen wrestling like this in a minute. Where I mean, outside of the brands, but Triple H has already had his hand in NXT UK, and he's bringing back NXT European next year, which is going to be great for a lot of the talent of the NXT in the European UK kind of circuit. Um, which brings it to the conversations of these prime live events. So what I've been seeing on TikTok or even on YouTube and certain wrestling channels that I follow and wrestling people that I've seen post these graphics, it seems like there's going to be a couple of pay-per-views that are going to be gone. Like I said, Hell in a Cell, Extreme Rules, TLC, stuff like that. That's going to be gone, and I'm all for it. I think that's a beautiful idea. Hell in a Cell should be really, and I don't think it should be a pay-per-view because if it's not a lot of not a lot of rivalries, it shouldn't be a full length pay per view of just matches that don't really mean anything. I think you should put the Hell in a Cell back in as when the rivalry has really reached the rivalry has really reached its apex, and you have no other alternative. Like if Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle continue to rival and continue to have a fight and stuff like that, it will be great to see them in a Hell in a Cell match. Like if they were to continue being rivals, they both got one victory now on each other. Yeah, I mean Monday night, said beat Matt, but let's say make it for the United States Championship at some pay per view. That would make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's one of the rivalries that I don't know really where this is gonna go just yet, but you can keep building it into WrestleMania because I don't think you take the title off of Seth Rollins anytime soon. So except if like Cody Rhodes comes back and it's got to be a lot of things. Roman Reigns loses the title, or he just decides to vacate the WWE Championship. You put it in the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes comes back, wins the title, or Randy Orton comes back, or Seth wins the title, and Matt Riddle wins the Elimination Chamber. Then you make them two fight at WrestleMania or something like that. It's got to be something crazy for Seth not to fight somebody like a Matt Riddle at WrestleMania, other than if you just continuously beating his dead horse. Now, and they have great matches, so it's not like they don't have good matches. They have really good matches. Well, that's also a testament to Seth Rollins because Seth can just fight with anybody. He can wrestle with anybody. He can have any type of match, with anybody. Um, but I like the idea of the prime live events being a reason to watch it. You gotta get rid of the gimmicky shit because a lot of people don't tune in for a lot of the shit, and it makes sense. I like the fact that Triple H is starting to realize this, and somebody in one of the sort of graphics that I saw, I've been seeing on the internet and that's been circling around for the Prime Live events for 2023. It reads, I think it goes Royal Rumble to start off the year, Elimination Chamber in February, which makes total sense, and then you got a gap between February to April, which is WrestleMania. But I think this year's WrestleMania might be in March. So so that's literally a month. So you got January, February, March. Then I think the next pay per view would be, which I think would be awesome if this is true. If this is true, the graphics I've been seeing is that they're gonna bring back the King of the Ring pay per view, which I am all fucking for. I think that would be a perfect fucking thing to do because you don't need a title on that pay per view. If you literally do like a real King of the Ring for the whole night, and it's not broken off into two different brands, if it's really one night, you get your best SmackDown underrated guys, you get your best Raw underrated guys, and put them in the King of the Ring tournament. And if the winner wins, then they get the push like Triple H got in 1997. That would be incredible. That would be an amazing fucking thing for this man. 1997 and 98, I can't remember which year he won King of the Ring. But if that is the truth, and also you also just introduced the Queen of the Ring, so this makes total sense to even have that now. I think, which wrestling women are starting to kind of get back into the situation, and I think that's a big thing. But you got the King of the Ring. I think June or July is supposed to be Money in a Bank. I'm gonna continue before I get into that. And this August is, of course, I hope SummerSlam again. SummerSlam in August, which would make sense. I get it. Football is around. Football will be around that time frame. So maybe a stadium you try to rent out can't really lease you the stadium because it's football and it's preseason. But if you put it at the end of August, there's no preseason games. That's literally the last week of preseason. So it's literally gonna be 3 games, and you could probably use that stadium. So put it back in August and chill with it. Um, I think, and then it's supposed to be what is it supposed to be? I saw the graphic. I forgot what the fucking graphic looked like. But it was supposed to be, I think either they're gonna do Survivor Series first, like Survivor Series, and then which I've said numerous times, I think that now that Triple H is back in WWE, this is going to get back on the schedule, and I think it would be perfect. Oh, I saw it. What it was? It was the UK's event, whatever UK pay per view. So if it's like another Clash at the Castle, if they make that like an annual thing, I think that'd be another Clash at the Castle in September. Then November will be no, not November. Sometime in October would be the WWE Women Evolution pay per view, which would mean the women would get their pay per view back, which they only had one. But I think it would be, and I've said this numerous times. I thought when Triple H got back in the power, I said I can see WWE giving the women's pay per view another go because you have a lot of good talent in the women's division. You just don't use them all, and then you can't utilize it. So I think that'd be a beautiful fucking thing to do. And then Survivor Series in November. So then you have another gap between November, January, and maybe you put in the Crown Jewel pay per view in December. Maybe you move the Crown Jewel pay per view out of November and put it in December. So now you do have something to kind of keep everything kind of in the middle in the impasse. But yeah, I think that'd be look, man. If that's true, how the prime event's about to go, I am all for it. I think to get rid of the gimmicky pay per views, Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell, TLCs, like make that shit matter again. Like TLC used to matter when you used to hear somebody say, "I want you in a Hell in a Cell match." There was a shock over the crowd. Even Triple H said that shit. There was a shock over the crowd. You felt people being like, "Holy shit, a Hell in a Cell? Oh, keep about it. This is gonna be bad." And it felt like that. So I am looking so forward to what the prime events are looking like for going forward for WWE. If that is the truth, and that is what we're about to see and what we're about to get, this is incredible. And I think it's a good situation. Now, like I said, I want to run through it first before I just go into it. Keep all the pay per views. I think all of them are great except one. Somebody said this on TikTok last night. I was watching it. He covers wrestling, and he was like, the only pay per view I would get rid of, and maybe and put something back in that situation. Somebody, and he was like, I would get rid of Money in a Bank. He was like, I will put Money in a Bank back to WrestleMania, and I will put maybe Cyber Sunday in that place. I 100% agree. I 100%. I can't remember what his name is on TikTok, but shout out to him. I 100% agree. I would take Money in the Bank and put it at WrestleMania again. You now do 2 nights for WrestleMania. You do not need a Money in the Bank pay per view when we all know he's not that person who wins, men or women. They're not gonna. Somebody cashes in on that night, and somebody doesn't. They hold on to the briefcase for like 7, 8, 9 months. Put them at WrestleMania. Put it back at WrestleMania. Make that match matter again. Because if you win at the big, like Money in the Bank pay per view, it's cool, it's okay, you win, but it's not the same pop. Like when you did it at WrestleMania, that shit popped. That was a massive fucking thing. Plus, the crowd is bigger. The stadium, you're in a stadium, you're in an arena when you win Money in the Bank once. Imagine winning Money in the Bank and then the WWE Universal Champion getting hurt and you running out there at the end of the night and cashing that bitch in and winning the title, or the women's champion gets hurt and you cash that bitch in and win that hoe at the end of the night. That would be crazy. That would be so fucking nuts. That'd be crazy. I think the place would go nuts. Especially if it's like a fan favorite that like everybody's like, man, they keep just holding this dude back. Let that man go. If he wins, that matters, man. And I agree. Put Cyber Sunday back in the WWE. I think that's the best pay per view to put right now in this era. He said this, and I totally agree. He said in this era that we live in, where social media now is a super thing, where WWE was doing Cyber Sundays and shit, you had to text with a flip phone, and you had to kind of like get message like charges, message charges and shit like that. In this era where all you gotta do is go to Twitter and just pick a match, pick a person, pick a match, pick a stipulation, pick something that you. This would be the perfect time to do a Cyber Sunday. It would be beautifully done because now WWE trends every time it does get on TV when it is a pay per view, so you know people are watching. If you do a Cyber Sunday, that's a massive fucking hit to WWE. It will be a massive fucking thing because then you will have more. The fans will feel more in control of the content they actually are trying to see, and I think that would be a beautiful thing. And if Triple H is smart, and I know he is, I wouldn't mind seeing him do that. I wouldn't mind seeing him bring that back and creating that again. Cyber Sunday is such a it was ahead of its time, and I think it would be so dope to see it now in this era with all of the people you do have a chance to play that with. Like I said, you haven't seen a hell like if you haven't seen a Hell in a Cell match in like a year or two, and that's one of the options, or a TLC match or Extreme Rules match. Now you're like, holy shit! If somebody's beefing, I could see Seth versus Roman Reigns for a title match in a TLC match or a Hell in a Cell match or a Extreme Rules match. That would be so dope. Now you bring in the elements of what you had back into the conversation, and it matters again. So I'm all for it, man. I am all for the Prime live events of 2023. I'm happy he's getting rid of all these gimmicky ass pay per views because again, you're making a pay per view seem like it doesn't matter, or the stipulations to the pay per view rules. It doesn't matter, and I don't like it. I think that's why when I grew up, man, Hell in a Cell mattered. TLC matches mattered. Extreme Rules matches matter. When they adopted ECW's Extreme Rules matches, that mattered. When they got rid of the hardcore and brought in, nobody even says street fight no more. They always say Extreme Rules. But like when you brought in that, it's kind of like okay. So yeah, man. I think that's a great idea. Get into Triple H though. And if that is true and Triple H is trying to do all this what I feel. Triple H will now officially become truly the Vince McMahon of this era. Now you probably listening to this and thinking I'm crazy as hell. No. Triple H I feel like could become the new Vince McMahon of this era. I'm gonna tell you how. That particularly bringing back all these superstars, but another thing is if you've been watching wrestling, especially WWE, the last couple of weeks, Triple H has been on TV more. You're seeing Triple H now be we already knew he was the head of creative. We know he's backstage. We know he's doing these things. But for the first time, he's stepping out as like Mr. McMahon. He's like a character now. He's like Mr. McMahon. And he's Triple H, but it's like, okay, he's the boss. And you know he's not gonna jump in and have any matches and any, crazy situations because he can't anymore. And I think that's an element to this situation I think is really interesting. And I would love to see how this is going to play out. Now, Triple H, like I said, it's becoming now a character again on TV. He's just now in a I run the company type of, you know, mindset. A new Mr. McMahon is pretty damn dope. I've never thought I would say that. Like a new Mr. McMahon is pretty fucking dope. And Triple H is the perfect fucking person to be the new Mr. McMahon of this era going forward. And speaking of that, he's not the only one that is starting to really get themselves into the conversation of the new era's this. Bray Wyatt is clearly the new era's Undertaker. We clearly notice, which is pissing me off because I remember when WrestleMania 31 came, and one of my homies was like, "Yo, man, shout out my brother, Sir Splex." He was like, "Man, I think Bray Wyatt should have won. He should have broke Undertaker's WrestleMania streak." And I was like, I wasn't sold on it because I'm like, nah, because they don't know how to really run Bray right. And I was like, maybe Roman, because I could see Roman doing it, which he won, but it didn't matter as much when Brock broke it. But now that I'm now wrapping my head around it, maybe Bray should have. Maybe you should have waited to WrestleMania 31 when Bray called Undertaker out and brought him back, and maybe Bray should have won because it would have established Bray as that. But again, Vince was running the company at that time. But I think Bray, as now the new face of fear, is really kicking it in. And like I said, I'm not gonna be doing a review of SmackDown or Raw this week. But last night watching SmackDown and watching Bray kind of create another character, Uncle Howdy. It's like this dude has a creativeness that is unreal. You see, the thing about the Undertaker was Undertaker and Vince were together on a lot of these things. I don't think people really help him Bray, except maybe one writer, and maybe if Triple H needs to sign off or some shit, he'll sign off on it or question it. But Bray is one of those guys. I think Bray Wyatt is now starting to become the new Undertaker of this era, which leads the question, which creates the conversation, right, of this new era. If Triple H is new Mr. McMahon and Bray is the new Undertaker, who's Stone Cold and The Rock? Now, people will say Roman Reigns is The Rock, right? Roman Reigns is The Rock, but I don't feel that. I don't see it. Sorry, just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think Seth Rollins is The Rock of this era. You probably think I'm crazy, but I think Seth Rollins is The Rock of this era. I'll tell you why. He's more charismatic. He's got the fans really in a palm every time he steps out there. Every time he gives a promo, you can tell the fans really care and they listening and they understand what he's saying and they're really, really, really like honing into everything he says. And I think Seth Rollins has more of the true persona of what a heel is, or even just a person that's just supposed to give you a good fucking promo. He knows how to do it. Seth is one of those guys, and yes, Seth is one of my favorite wrestlers. The Rock was not. The Rock was not. I mean, I liked it. I thought The Rock was a great, but he wasn't one of my favorite wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Stone Cold was. Undertaker was. You know. But yeah, man. Seth Rollins is more charismatic and better in a ring and better on a microphone than Roman Reigns could ever be. Only difference is Roman Reigns was born into the Rock's family. That's it. That's really it. And you ask yourself, who's Stone Cold, right? I just kind of said it. Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is more Stone Cold this era. Kevin Owens is another one who's great on the mic, but when he's in a ring, you can tell he has the ability to capture the fans and the fans' imagination. And I think that's the thing about this new era where Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins is more The Rock and Stone Cold to me than Roman Reigns is. Roman Reigns to me is Goldberg. Roman Reigns is Goldberg. Um, I know people be like, that doesn't make any sense. It makes all the sense in the world. Watch how I'm gonna say this. Goldberg winning streak lasted what, a year and a half, 2 years? How long we running on Roman Reigns title reign? The difference between Goldberg and Roman Reigns is Goldberg used to show up every fucking week on TV. That's it. He didn't beat anybody important. He didn't do shit until he fought Hulk Hogan. Goldberg didn't really do shit. Let's be real. Roman Reigns is the same. I'm so tired of this reign of him being champion. And you're trying to keep him all prestiged and shit. It's getting fucking tiring. And I wish I would stop doing this shit. Roman is good, but he's Goldberg. Let's stop playing ourselves. Roman Reigns is fucking Goldberg. Spear, smash, jackhammer, choke you out now. Like that's the same shit Goldberg did when I was a kid. It's the same shit. Nothing's changed. He just got hair and tattoos. Tribal chief tattoos. That's it. Nothing's up. All in all, man, WWE's wrestling's in a pretty good place when it comes to WWE. AEW, on the other hand, too many problems going on. And listen, I'm not an AEW guy. I don't really watch AEW like that. But one thing I want to say is, um, excuse me, prayers up for Adam Hangman Page. The way he got hit. Wednesday night, or Tuesday night, I should say, on Dynamite, I think, was really scary. You know what I'm saying? To have a concussion, and you already have so many injuries, you have so much backstage conflict in AEW. They're gonna last a long time. They're gonna last a good bit, but at the same time, it's like you don't know what's gonna happen. So, yeah, man. Press of a Adam Hangman page, man. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Brandon Janeau, and I'll tell you guys soon. Peace.